Okay, students, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you are well in this pandemic situation, and today we are going to continue our class on narration. Today we are going to discuss the narration with the word let. Let usually we get in the imperative sentences, and how will we change this from the direct speech to the indirect one? Today we will see this. Now, let's watch an example like so the following sentence, that is, let us discuss in a meeting, this we can change into indirect sentence like we, instead of say to, as this is a proposal to someone, that is, we are making a proposal to the chairman, that's why we will see use we proposed to the chairman that. After that, the subject us, it is in the objective form. Now it will be changed into subjective one, that is that we is, then we will bring the helping verb might. We might discuss it in a meeting. So we propose to the chairman, then we will remove the inverted comma, and instead of that we are going to use this word that. Then the subject we, then we will use the helping verb might. We might discuss it in a meeting. Now, the question is, if by the word of let we are not referring to any proposal, rather any general statement, how can we transform it into the indirect speech then? Let us see. The man said to me, let me leave. Then the man told me, instead of that, instead of inverted comma, we are using that, and then we are using the subject. This me, this is actually referring to the man, third person. So we are using the subjective form of the third person here. We are using here he because this he is actually referring to the man, that he might live. So here we are not going to use the word proposed to, because this is not a proposal at all. Rather, we are using this word told like any other normal assertive form, and then we are giving the structure like subject plus might. Of course, there will be might when we are using let and converting it into the indirect speech. Then this is subject plus might plus main verb. If there were any extension, then we will add the extension here. Now, this is basically an operative sentence. In case of operative sentence, we have to remember that usually the word may comes in the beginning. This is a kind of prayer or wish. Now, the sentence is like, the dervish said to the soldiers, may you be ever victorious. This word be is being used here because the adjective victorious is here. Possibly there will not be any be, because there will not be always adjectives in our sentences. I am showing another example which is without any kind of be and with a main verb, of course. The dervish prayed for the soldiers that they might be ever victorious. Now, here we can see that the dervish, instead of said to, we are using prayed for, and then the soldiers, we are removing this inverted comma and using that. Now, this you, it is referring to actually the soldiers. Dervish is actually praying for the soldiers. So we are converting this you into they. May will be changed into might. Be will be in its place. And the extension part will be remain unchanged. In narration, actually, what we change is, we change the verbs, we change the tenses, we change the persons. But the extension part always remains as it is. So instead of said to, we will use prayed for. This is the basic idea when we are changing any sentence from operative any sentence which is an operative one into indirect form. Now let's see. Here we can see there is an address, that is the teacher actually addressing the students. In the inverted comma, when we can see this word students, this actually refers that the teacher actually what he is doing, he is addressing the students. So what the teacher is saying, that is, if we start in this way, then where will be the address? That is, we are using the teacher prayed for the students that they might prosper in life. Then where will be this part? So this is actually a wrong format to do this. How can we correct it? As there is an address here, so we may show addressing the students, the teacher prayed for them that they might prosper in life. Now, here we are using this part, addressing the students. We are using it because the word students is here. You people may ask that if we do not use this phrase, prayed for them, instead, if I say, addressing the students, the teacher prayed that they might prosper in life, is it okay? Now, the answer of this question varies. If we say that if it is a single sentence, then of course it will not be considered as a correct one. But in the passage narration, you may know that we consider many things. We consider many exceptions, many digressions. So in that case, in the context of any passage narration, if you want to curb the number of sentences, then you may convert it in this way, that is, addressing the students, the teacher prayed that they might prosper in life. If you do not use this phrase, that is, they might, the teacher prayed for them that, no problem. In case of passage narration, because in case of passage narration, we tolerate many exceptions, what we are going to see in the next class actually. So let's see some other sentences which may contain this addressing. And maybe they are not only operative sentences. Of course, such address happens in case of imperative sentences as well. Like when we are doing this, this is a kind of command. The general said to the commanders, comrades, win the war. Now, as it is a military command, we are using it in this way. The general commanded the it is not pleasant to listen this to command and command, but grammatically it's okay. Commanders addressing the commanders as his comrades, the general commanded them to win the war. So here, the general is actually addressing the commanders as his comrades, and he is commanding them to win the war. So, the address, the comrades is here, we are using this part, addressing the commanders as his comrades. Now, if this part, that is as his comrades, as his friends, this part happens when it is like this general is addressing the commanders. But if it is like the general said to them, commanders win the war. If the listener is a pronoun and the addressing is a noun, then we may use the address like this, addressing the commanders, the general commanded them to win the war. But when it is like here there is a noun and here there is another noun, then we will use it in a different way. That is addressing the commanders as his comrades, the general commanded them to win the war. Now it is, the fan said to his friends, "Hooray, we have become champions." So this is actually an exclamatory sentence. In case of exclamatory sentence, what we are going to do is, we are using this word that is exclaimed with joy, or exclaimed with sorrow, or exclaimed with wonder. The fan exclaimed with joy and told his friends, as he is addressing his friends, told his friends that they had become champions. This part will be changed as we did the transformation of the assertive sentences. But the matter is, in case of exclamatory sentence, we have to use exclaimed with joy or exclaimed with sorrow, these things. We have to remove the word hurrah or wow, that is this type of expressions. And then after this relative pronoun that, we are using the assertive format. That is the formula we applied when we changed the assertive sentences. We are using it, we are applying it here as well. That is, this we will be converted into they. Then as it is a present perfect tense, so this part will be changed into a past perfect one. The man said, "Alas, I am undone." Here we may change it. The man exclaimed with sorrow that he is undone. So here we are using, that is when the man is saying, "Alas, I am undone," here we are using the expression like exclaimed with sorrow. So as the person is very much sorry, he is grieved, so we are using the word exclaimed with sorrow. Then comes another question, that is, what if we don't understand whether the speaker is sorry or he is in joy? How can we do it? Now this word terrible, it is used in many cases. That is, even when we are so much amazed by someone's performance, like Lionel Messi's performance in Copa America. I am not an Argentine supporter, but he played good in Copa America. That what a terrific performance, what a terrible performance, what a devastating performance. So in these cases, we use this word devastating, terrible, such things. Now, when we are doing these things, what happens actually, we express our wonder. We are neither happy nor sorry, rather we are amazed. So we may say, the man exclaimed with wonder that it is a terrible speech. The question is, am I required to use this phrase, exclaimed with wonder? The answer is no. You are not bounded to use this phrase, that is exclaimed with wonder. If you do not understand whether it is sorrow or whether it is joy, then just flatly write, the man exclaimed that, he exclaimed that. Especially in the cases of passive narration, you are permitted to do that. So we are almost in the end of our discussion. There are some other words, that is, when we are using the words like farewell, good night, good morning, these things. What will we do then? He said to me, good morning. He wished me good morning. When I am wishing somebody good morning, good noon, etc., actually we will use this word wish. I wish him that, he wished me that, like this. If I say good night, he wished me good night. But if I say goodbye. Goodbye is actually not a wish. Rather, it is bidding farewell. So, when I am saying somebody there, when in the direct speech, it is like he wished me goodbye, he said to me goodbye. It will be like, he bade me farewell. That's enough. So here we conclude the discussion of the single sentence narration. Now comes the passage narration. What will we do then in case of passage narration? Let's see a passage. father said to me, you are not attentive to your studies at all. It is not good. I said, okay, I will be more careful. Now, this is a very small passage where we find that the father is speaking with his son, and the father is uttering two sentences. The son is actually uttering one particular sentence and he is giving a reply. So the transformation of the passage narration is actually very much closely linked to the rules and regulations of the transformation of the single sentence narrations. That is the reason we have decided to teach you the single sentence narration at first, and now we are watching how to transform the passage narration into an indirect one. So, father told me that this you is actually this me, so it will be you are not attentive to your studies at all. So this is in this is in the assertive form. That is the reason we are converting this assertive simple present tense into assertive simple past tense. That I was not attentive to my studies at all. I was not attentive to my studies at all. Now, what will we do in case of this additional sentence? The father is adding them, and we will also say that he added that. So, in case of additional sentence, we will continue with added that, we will continue with also said that, we will continue with further said that. In this way, we are going to convert the additional sentences. That is, he added that it was not good. I said, okay, I will be more careful. Now this okay, this is actually an affirmative reply. Okay, yes, all of these kinds, these are actually affirmative replies. So if somebody replies in affirmative, we will say, he replied in the affirmative and said that. If somebody said, no, I am studying, I am trying my best, in that case, it will be like he replied in the negative and said that. So in case of any reply like yes, no, okay, we will use replied in the affirmative or replied in the negative. I replied in the affirmative and said that. I will be more careful. It will be I would be. This will be changed into would be. That I would be more careful. So actually what we are going to do is, this is a very simplified kind of passage, only 3 sentences, there are only 2 persons. So we can do this, what we have learned today. Let's have a quick look. So when there are additional sentences, we are just saying that, also said that, added that, etc. And when there is a reply, then we will use he replied in the affirmative, replied in the negative, etc. and said that. Then we will use the rules of the single sentence narrations. So actually in the passage narration, we are applying the rules of the single sentence narration in the context of a passage. In the next class, we are going to solve more passage narration. Up to then, goodbye.